The greatest tragedy is when there is a rupture and you postpone it. Rebuilding a friendship takes time and patience. The tragedy is the longer you wait, the harder it is to open that door again. We counsel people approach it as quickly as possible so that the heartache doesn't grow, seal over, and become an injury in your heart the rest of your days.
We want you to know that it's possible with effort and patience, that there are some steps that can help you repair a broken friendship.
Have you ever longed to be able to talk about values and morals or faith and spirituality without feeling judged? Hi, and welcome to our podcast, Mindful Moments, Insights to Empower the Soul. This podcast will empower you to embrace your true self. Hi, I'm Dr. Debi Gilmore, and we are marriage and family therapists, but also humans with a passion for faith, for growth, and emotional well-being.
And I'm Sharilyn Green, and today we hope to talk about one of the most valuable resources one can possess, and that's friends. And honestly, Debbie, is there anything better knowing that you have a friend who loves you even when you're not at your best, who can talk you off the edge of a cliff if you need it and tell you things are going to be okay, even when you're not sure it will be? Oh my goodness, this kind of friend is priceless. So many of us are aware of the longest study ever done on happiness. The Harvard Happiness Project has long verified that relationships are the key to happiness. The study also confirms that cultivating friendship is a social skill and requires practice. I love knowing that we can improve our ability to be a friend and to find a friend with intention and practice. That's important to me.
You know, I've cited that study so many times, but there's another one that supports it, and it's a recent study called the Midas Study. It contains data from more than 2,100 adults, and this just reinforces the results of the Harvard study. It found that we live longer and age better when we have healthy relationships in our lives. Easier said than done. We recognize that. But it might be helpful to think of our social connections as a sort of retirement account. And that's truly what the studies find, that it sets us up for a long life of well-being, higher well-being. It is so valuable and worth our time and effort to build these relationships. We also know that the quality of our friendships is much more important than the quantity. Most people only need 2 to 5 friends to reap the benefits of this powerful resource.
That's encouraging. And I just wanted to add a thought I had, Debbie, is also it's important to honor our personalities. If we're an extrovert or an introvert, some extroverts may need more social connections while an introvert may feel very little. And so I had that thought just now that it's important to honor that and to recognize that.
I love studying introverts and extroverts and ambiverts, which are kind of in the middle. Introverts need friends. It's just how they manage their energy. Extroverts love to have high energy most of the time. Introverts need to check out and recharge, and they need those relationships as well.
Thank you. I love that. Well, sadly, the world is getting lonelier for all the reasons we all know and we all worry about. I was interested to find that in May of 2023, the Surgeon General, he declared a loneliness epidemic, which of course was exacerbated by COVID, but the impact on our health and mental health just can't be overstated. Isolation and loneliness are linked to heart disease, stroke, dementia, depression, anxiety, and even premature death. The statistics show that 50% of American adults are suffering with loneliness. That's a staggering percentage. Breaks my heart, actually. And it's important to know, too, that we're all lonely occasionally. In fact, learning to be alone is an important skill of emotional self-reliance. However, this is different than feeling chronic loneliness.
This research that they have done on loneliness was stunning, especially to us in the profession in which we work, because it made us more acutely aware of this aspect of humans' lives, the loneliness that has gone unaddressed. Now we're realizing it causes lifelong physical ailments. It attacks our major organs. So I do want to pause here just for a minute and say that we feel a deep sensitivity for those who feel alone right now. We can be surrounded by crowds of people and still feel painfully alone. This can be so challenging, and we know that the holidays can be particularly heartbreaking when we see others getting together, happy families gathering, and friends celebrating the joyous holiday season. We want to be mindful and compassionate for the lonely, and we want to serve as examples of reaching out and including those who may feel alone. This is particularly important at this time of year. Our hearts should be on the lookout for those suffering during the holidays.
I love that. We really should be as sensitive as possible to this particularly challenging time of year for people. So, we know that the antidote to so many of life's ills is connection. Actually, Debbie, in my office, I have a poster that says the antidote is connection because I
Yeah.
believe it so much. It's also a powerful protection against things like addictions, pornography, substance abuse. It's a powerful antidote for depression and anxiety. Of course, there's chemical things that need to be addressed as well, but it assists in those difficult mental health issues, apathy, and disconnection. So, truly, it is the antidote to a lot of the ills we suffer with in the world.
Yes. And so it might be helpful to talk about what are the core traits of a good friend and maybe outline how we can practice being a good friend. So let's do that, Sherlyn. Let's just kind of list the things to look for in a good friend. A good friend is consistent and reliable. Now, as I think about this, I think not only are we looking for a good friend, we need to be a good friend. So good friends show up when they say they will. They're loyal, they're reliable, they follow through. You don't have to guess where you stand with them, and they're steady, not hot or cold. And they remember important events and things happening in your life. Now, I'm going to point out right now and maybe embarrass you, Sherilyn. You do this. I have watched you do this, and it's so impressive to me. I'm taking notes. I'm trying to practice, and you surprise me consistently with a new way to be a better, loyal friend. Why does this matter? Well, consistency builds safety and trust, which is the foundation of emotional closeness.
Thanks, Debbie. That's so kind of you. Okay, I'm going to add on top of this is another trait of a good friend is that they listen deeply. This might be one of my favorite things that good friends do and that we do as a good friend. Things like they don't just wait for their turn to talk. They remember details. They attune well to tone, emotion, and the subtext. They make you feel gotten, like, I get you, I understand you, I see what's happening, I understand your heart. That's such a great feeling when someone can do that for you. We talk about this a lot, the idea of compassionate listening, that it allows you to help people unburden their hearts and to suffer less. I love that thought. I also think that good friends listen to the spirit and follow impressions. We all have had the experience where a thought pops into our mind. I should text that person. I should call that person. I should see how they're doing. And I think that's part of listening as a good friend, to listen to those impressions that come to us. We can sometimes be angelic hands in the lives of others. And then finally, I love the idea of giving the gift of our undivided attention, our absolute presence with someone. There's so many things vying for our attention in the world. It's easy to be constantly distracted, but to slow down when you're with someone you care about, to look into their eyes, to eliminate anything distracting you and to focus completely on them is such a gift. I love this quote by Simone Weil. She wrote this in 1942. She said, "The most basic and universal human need includes the need to be seen and understood, the need to be taken seriously, the need to be appreciated, the need to be paid attention to. The love of our neighbor in all its fullness simply means being able to say, 'What are you going through?'" This matters so much because feeling understood is the absolute cornerstone of connection.
In our busy world, it is difficult to be present, and what it requires is intention to remind ourselves, wait, am I being present for others and really for myself?
You
So, another one to watch for is good friends celebrate your wins. They are not intimidated by your wins. Instead, they celebrate it. They feel joy for your joy. They're not caught up in envy or competition. and they encourage your growth instead of shrinking it. Why does this matter? Well, relationships suffer in seasons of another success. Many do. Good friends expand with you. I love that. Now, another thing to watch for, good friends can hold your pain. They can be with you in your pain without turning it into a burden. They don't make it about themselves. When you're pouring out your heart, they lean in and listen. They don't minimize your struggles. Here's an example. While it's tempting, they don't say, it's fine, don't worry, just let it go, it's no big deal. They don't jump to fix or judge. They love you even when you are not lovable. So, why does this matter? Empathy is the heart of friendship.
Yeah, they're also honest, but with kindness. So good friends, they'll tell you the truth even when it's hard. They give gentle, I love that, gentle accountability without any shaming. And they don't gossip or about you or sugarcoat important things. This matters so much because truth plus warmth is the relational sweet spot. I love that. They also respect your boundaries. They honor your no without drama. They don't guilt trip you or take things personally. They don't require constant access to feel loved. And this is so important. This matters too, because we know that boundaries make closeness possible.
So, as we're talking about this, I'm thinking, how am I doing as a friend? Am I doing these things? If we're looking for these traits in others, am I doing it? So, let's talk about the reciprocal process. Good friends invest in the friendship, and it is a two-way process. So, they initiate sometimes, not just responding. They initiate and make plans. They keep emotional energy flowing both directions, which means, do we do that as well to keep the relationship alive? Why does this matter? Healthy friendships aren't lopsided. The ledger is equal or balanced as much as possible. There are some seasons where a friend might give more than the other, and vice versa. Another one to look for, good friends allow you. Oh, this is a good one, Sharilyn. Good friends allow you to be human and to be imperfect. So you don't have to walk on eggshells. You shouldn't have to. They hold space for our humanness and our flaws and imperfections. They apologize when needed and repair quickly after a conflict or tension has arisen. They have the gift, I love this word, the gift of discernment. The highest type of discernment is that which perceives in others and uncovers for them their better natures, the good inherent within them. Stephen Richards said this. I'm going to say it again because I love this point. The highest type of discernment, the best gift we can give a friend, is that which perceives in others and uncovers for them their better natures, finds the good that is inherent in them. I love that. Why does this matter? Safety comes from permission to be real.
Well, as you're saying that, my mind's flipping through the many times. Good friends have done that for me. They've helped me uncover for myself the goodness maybe I couldn't see. So I love that. To continue on, great friends are loyal, but not blindly. They'll stand with you in public and they speak truth in private. And they don't join gossip circles about you. And I think this little phrase sums up perfectly what we're talking about. Your name is safe in my house. A good friend we know will not betray us, talk about us badly behind our backs. We just know that we are safe with them. And it matters so much because loyalty builds emotional trust and protection. They also grow with you. We talked a little bit about this before, but they're evolving, reflective, and open. They don't resent your personal growth or life changes, and they're able to adjust as life shifts. If kids, leave the house or work changes or you move, they adjust with your changing circumstances. And it's such a beautiful part of being flexible as a friend. So it really matters when people can evolve together. It keeps friendships constant and going well.
We're talking about the ideal. We're saying this is the ideal, all these things. But even if we choose just one of these principles and apply it this next week, we will be better friends and we will find better friends. Now, as emotionally focused therapists, that's the model of therapy that we use when we work with our clients. We love the science of attachment. So it's helpful to know what creates a secure attachment. So let's talk about that briefly here. We call them the ABCs of attachment. Those elements, there's four: acceptance, belonging, comfort, and safety. When we can offer these four things to others, we're offering the gift of secure attachment. What are some of the things that you can do if you want to have more friends but don't know how? Let's talk about that because it's hard sometimes to break the ice and to gain the confidence to do this. So, one idea is to join a group or an organization that meets regularly. Some examples might be a book club or a study group, a hiking group. Be a yes person. In fact, I suggest to people practice this in front of the mirror. Yes, I like that idea. A simple example would be, would you like to sit here? We're grabbing lunch. Do you want to come? Connection can grow from the simplest, what we call micro moments. Another one is to initiate mini moments of warmth. Smile when you see someone. Ask how their week is going. Give a simple, sincere compliment or remember one follow-up detail. Another thing that you do, Sharilyn, I'm shocked by the things that you remember. You log it in your mind and then you bring it up and you ask, how did that go? Just earlier today, I ran into a stranger, turned and just mentioned that I loved the purple that she had on. Interestingly, I had this explosion inside of me that was happiness. It was just this moment of a micro, mini moment of joy to see the smile on her face grow. So, another one is to join service activities. Find a soup kitchen, these organized places that offer these opportunities. Volunteer at your local school or sign up to be involved in local charity events. Reopen old connections. Reach out to a neighbor you used to talk to, an old cousin or sister-in-law you haven't connected with recently, or a college friend. Create your own gathering, such as a dinner party. Now, introverts aren't likely to create a large party, but a party of four, a party of six. Organize a game night, an intimate evening where you have to stretch and expand, reach out, a dessert night. Get better at leaving the door open, so to speak, using statements like, I'd love to talk more, or would you like to grab lunch sometime? Or something like, we should go walking together. Now, the danger here is that we will put it out there, but we won't follow through. It's a cliche statement in the grocery store to run into someone and say, how are you? And just walk quickly past. So if we're going to do something like this, it's a commitment to self to say, I'd love to meet you for lunch. When are you available? One last thing, and this is very tender and special to me. You might consider praying for friendships. I call them tender mercies, actually. The moment when you notice that God has placed someone in your path at exactly the moment you need it most. That's a tender mercy. Pray for someone to be placed in your path and pray that you will recognize when it happens.
Those are such great ideas because this can be a really painful, part of friendship is you just feel like you don't know how to find them or what to do. And so I love the suggestions you just gave, Debbie. And like you said, we're talking about the ideal, but I hope it gives all of us courage to reach out more when it feels, I don't know, scary or fragile to do that. I want to talk about something else important in friendships, and that's how to repair a friendship that's had a rupture. And so, we all know that repairing a broken friendship can be, well, first of all, so painful in your heart. That's just never something that you want to have happen, but it's challenging and a very delicate process. But we want you to know that it's possible with effort and patience, that there are some steps that can help you repair a broken friendship. So the first step would be to acknowledge the issue. Just start by acknowledging the issue or conflict that caused the friendship to break down. This is important. Take responsibility for any mistakes you have made, and then be willing to listen to your friend's perspective. Second of all, apologize. You would probably say swiftly again too, right, Debbie? Apologize if you've hurt your friend. Apologize sincerely and without making excuses. Let your friend know that you regret your actions and that you're committed to making things right. That goes a long way. Another way to repair something that's ruptured is to communicate openly. So, open and honest communication is the key to repairing a broken friendship. Make an effort again to listen to your friend's feelings and their concerns, and then express your own in a respectful and non judgmental way.
I wanted to just insert something here. You mentioned swiftly. The greatest tragedy is when there is a rupture or a need for repair and you postpone it. The tragedy is the longer you wait, the harder it is to open that door again. So we actually counsel people as quickly as possible, acknowledge that there was an unfortunate incident and approach it as quickly as possible so that the heartache that you experienced in the moment doesn't grow, seal over, and become an injury in your heart the rest of your days. We see this happen in family members. We see this happen in friendships. So one other thing that we need to be aware of is be patient. Rebuilding a friendship takes time and patience. It is so important to call up patience for your friend and give them the space they need to heal. And the way we suggest you do that is to acknowledge, I know you may need space. I am here. And when you are ready, I would love to talk about what happened. And you would hope that they will be willing to do that because the relationship needs to be reciprocal. And if we create a sense of safety, they might be more likely to reach back. Another one, rebuilding trust is difficult. Trust is a crucial element of friendship, and rebuilding that trust after some sort of betrayal or tension or conflict can take time. It requires a new track record. So we have to be consistent, be dependable, and honest in our words and actions, and let our friend know that we're committed to rebuilding the trust between the two of us. So another one that will smooth the new path is to make new memories. Make specific plans to create new positive memories. This will not rewrite the history, but it will pave the way for a more beautiful future with your friend. Spend time together doing things you both enjoy. Focus on building a positive and supportive relationship going forward. And what we notice, whether it's couples, family members, friends, when they repair, their resulting relationship is stronger than ever before because that rupture is then repaired with a deeper bond. It's the most amazing phenomenon. Remember, repairing a broken friendship may not always be possible, and that's heartbreaking, but it's important to respect your friends' boundaries and their feelings. By taking these steps that we just outlined and showing your friend that you are committed to repairing the friendship, you may be able to rekindle a valuable friendship, a stronger friendship. Once that friendship bond has been attended to and repaired, the connection you share is deeper and richer. With each misstep or human error, the process of forgiveness. Oh, that's a really important element of friendship, of any committed relationship. The forgiveness you each offer the other cultivates a newer, stronger bond of connection, greater trust, security, and confidence in the journey ahead.
I love that you talked about how to repair. It's such an important skill to have. We all make mistakes, and it's so hopeful and encouraging to hear you express how it can be stronger and better than even before. Debbie, we are followers of Jesus Christ, and we love that the Savior honored friendships. He said, "Ye are my friends." I love that. And there's such beautiful examples of friends in the scriptures. You think of David and Jonathan, Ruth and Naomi, Paul and Timothy. Even the Savior with Mary, Martha, and Lazarus. He was a great example of what a friend does and how to be a friend. And so we wanted to mention his example as we talk about this. I want to just end with something that's really near and dear to my heart. And it's something I call a personal ministry. It's such a blessing in our lives to just pause and look around our circle of influence and intentionally say, wow, who could I minister to in a higher, holier level of friendship? One of our faith leaders, Elder Maxwell, is the one that actually taught me this principle. He was a busy apostle in our church. He had cancer and he was asked to be on some boards. And when he was asked to do that, he said, I don't have the time to do that because I have a personal ministry with cancer patients. That's much more important to me. And so he would spend time with cancer patients, understanding, of course, what they were going through. There was no assignment to do this. There was nothing, duty bound about it. It was just his desire to look around his circle and see who he could bless. I've had people do that for me. I'm up in Salt Lake some of the time, and I had someone reach out to me a couple of years ago. Has made a profound difference of my experience in Salt Lake. There was no reason for her to even notice that I was there, but she did that on her own, and I'll just be forever grateful for her personal ministry in my life. And so we just want to ask the question, who's in your circle of influence that you may consider having a personal ministry to? In other words, where can I make a difference? Where can I make an intentional difference in someone's life? We also think this is a seedbed of charity. When we do this, we start to see others the way the Savior does. We begin to say what he would say and to do what he would do if he were here.
That's so beautiful. I love these examples and near and dear to your heart, these examples of people that have reached out in the midst of the turmoil and the pain. It's so important to tell people what they mean to you. An invitation to tell someone how much they mean to you and why. Yesterday, I had the impression to call someone that I only have known briefly. And it was this impression of call now. Often we find out there was a reason. In this case, I said to her, should I be worried about you? And she said, no, I'm actually doing really well. But it means so much to me that you reached out to me. It just reinforced this new relationship that we're building. It was a rich moment. So I'm so grateful for that. And I come to this point where I said this probably 3 times now in this whole podcast, Sharilyn. I want to be a better friend so that I merit having those dear friends that are reciprocal in their efforts toward me. So here we are at the therefore what?
Yeah, so my therefore what, I'm struck still by the loneliness at this time of year. I want to be not just intentional, but actually do something to make a difference in someone's life who may be feeling lonely. I'm going to look more carefully kind of around my circle of influence and see who might be lonely this time of year and do what I can to reach out. That's what I'm taking away from this today.
I love that. Mine is a little reminder that I shared earlier to be careful about offering. We need to go to lunch, to follow through, to make it a real invitation, a more consistent invitation with my dearest people in my world. Those following through really does build the most powerful connection with people. And it makes us better humans. The exchange during that experience, things happen that you didn't expect would happen. It's a gift you give yourself when you're consistent with your dear friends. So thank you so much for listening today. We love our followers and we hope that you will spread the news that we're here and send us topic ideas. We are wide open for those as well.
Thank you so much, everyone.